Alright, yo, what's going on, guys? Malachi here. Welcome back to another video. I'm not entirely sure what I'm even gonna do. I felt bored and wanted to make another video, but I'm not really feeling like playing Returnal or anything that's gonna take like too much brain power. Feeling a little brain dead at the moment. Figured I would hop on to some Need for Speed. I've been just kind of slowly chipping away at the platinum for this. Yesterday I finished all the drift challenges. Now I just need to do like long jumps and speed traps and then get all the billboards and uh spray paints and flamingos, and I think I think that's it. I haven't played this game like in a while. Well, up until recently, it had been a good few years, honestly, since the last time I did anything on it. Like, I beat the story, I got to max rank, the little crew I'm in, I maxed out that rank. I just kind of felt like I had done all that I wanted to do. I did want to talk about some of the new music that's come out lately. Like, Tame Impala dropped their album, or his album, I guess. I think it came out the 17th. Yeah, the 17th. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on it, but honestly, like, I went into it not having any expectations on, like, really on it, not having like any sort of comparison in my head to what I thought it was gonna sound like. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Slow Rush that dropped in 2020. I listened to it two or three times all the way through, I think, and it just, I don't know, something about it wasn't really clicking with me. I don't think it's bad. As always, I think his production and just the way that he structures everything is really well done. So musically, his shit is always gonna hit for me, anyways. While I am more of a fan of kind of pre-Currents era with more like the psychedelic rock, and I do like Currents a lot, but not as much. Inner Speaker for me is peak, followed by Lonerism. To be honest, depending on where my head's at the time, I may put Lonerism above Inner Speaker. It really just depends. Yeah, he dropped his newest album, Deadbeat. It's got a lot of like house and EDM styles in it, which for the most part, it's got what, 10, 10 songs? I think My Old Ways is a, a great opener. As soon as that shit came on, dude, I was moving. I was feeling it, and I was feeling good. No Reply, I enjoyed. I didn't think it was anything crazy. I'm not gonna sit here and do like a whole track by track breakdown and give my thoughts on every track, but like My Old Ways, Dracula, Oblivion. Honestly, Loser and End of Summer, I saw a lot of people say that they didn't like either of those because those were the first two singles we got. The only single I listened to was Dracula because I heard a snippet of it and I was like, yeah, the moment I get my hands on this song, I'm gonna play the fuck out of it. And I did. Yeah, I would have to say My Old Ways, Dracula, Oblivion, End of Summer, and Loser are probably my top, really in no particular order. I like the latter half of Ethereal Connection, that whole first, I don't even know, minute, 30 seconds to a minute or whatever, where it's just a do, 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 like, nah. And it's weird because that's how some of the other songs felt too. They just felt like there was so many things going on, and I feel like he's normally really good about like kind of pushing it to the point where you think it may be too much, but then like he just makes it work and everything blends and actually sounds really well done. I still got it, and anyways, that's all that matters. Some of them just felt so busy and like there were so many different things going on. I couldn't really, like, it was hard to focus on just one thing. It just kind of took away from some of the songs. Damn, just barely missed it. I've seen a lot of people online talk about how bad it is and how he fucking fell off and it's a flop and all this and that. But I think if you go into it no preconceived ideas of it sounding like Currents or Lonerism or even the Slow Rush or just none of his older work, previous work, whatever. If you go into it not expecting anything, just like, sweet, new album, let's see what it brings, then I think that you'll like it. I think it, at least that was my case. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. Not everything was my cup of tea, but again, that's okay. Bad Omens dropped a new single yesterday too called Dying to Love, which I don't know if that little EP they put out is going to be a part of an album that they're coming out with, or if that was just like kind of a little glimpse to show us where they're at right now musically. But over the past 2 months, 3 months maybe, I'm not entirely sure, they've been dropping some singles. They came out with Spectre. They started with that, and then they followed that up with Impose, and then now it's Dying to Love, and it's got its own little artwork wherever you listen to music at, and those 3 tracks are plopped into an EP. I really like it. I've seen people say that it's Sad Omens time, and that shit always makes me laugh. Oh, Paleface Swiss dropped a new single. I think yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago? So I saw it yesterday, right when the clock hit midnight. It's called Let Me Sleep. Where is it? Y'all see that right on the little mini map? There's the flamingo, but like, hello? Alright, maybe it's glitched. I'll come back to that later. It says they're supposed to have an EP coming out on January the 2nd called The Wilted. Pretty hyped for that. Although it's like 5 or 6 songs, I think. Yeah, 5, and 2 of them have already come out. Being the Instrument of War single that dropped a while ago. And then now the most recent one, Let Me Sleep. So like, are they just gonna stop, I wonder? Because I feel like if you release another single, then stuff like that confuses me, because why are you gonna have a 5-song EP and then release over half of the EP? So when it drops, it's like, okay, we get 2 new songs, which is cool. That's awesome. I'm not trying to complain, because I will take any new music from them. Honestly, it's just weird, and I don't understand it. I don't know. Like, I'm not a musician, so I want to talk about someone else too. I'm not super familiar with their work because I haven't heard a whole lot of their songs. I'm not sure how big their discography is in total, but I've got 6 songs by them. It's someone my sister threw me onto. Her name's Amira Elfeki, I think is how you pronounce it. If I butchered that, I'm really sorry. Yeah, she blends almost like kind of like pop and then rock. I saw someone say that she's almost like Deftones. I don't really know. I've not really listened to Deftones. It's just like some solid little emo kid music. I don't really know how else to describe it. I have to give her credit though. She has some of the best screams I have heard in a minute, especially for someone who's like, at least from what I've heard, she doesn't use it that much. So to be at that caliber already, I think is pretty good. But I don't know her background. She could have been playing in bands like that long before she started doing her own thing. I don't know. So one of the challenges I'm trying to do too is do the 25 events online with other people. So I'll just load up into an online server and just sit here and wait. The most recent song I have from her is a single that she released in September called Hold On To Me, and that may be her most recent stuff. I don't know. I've not really checked. I think that's where her vocal range shines the most, because it's got her just like singing like a little ballad style and everything, just doing what she does, but then fucking popping out and screaming like that and making it so dirty, but clear at the same time. Like, I don't know if y'all are into this kind of music, like you'll understand. Like some of the people you listen to and like they can scream and like it sounds gnarly, but like you don't know what the fuck they're saying because it's so like almost like cluttered, I guess. I'm not really sure how to describe it. There's like so much rasp and just grit going on in their voice that it's like kind of hard to tell exactly what they're saying and everything, but like I feel like she does a really good job getting that like that kind of grit in it and that rasp, but at the same time making it still very clear, because I didn't need the lyrics for any of it at all. Like I could fully tell, like understand what she was saying and everything. And she's got some really good breakdowns too. Like I don't know, I feel like a lot of the time in that kind of genre of music you can get a lot of bands and people that make stuff that sounds all kind of just one and the same. And for me personally, it's really refreshing. I feel like she's doing it really well. And I've always been a fan of the kind of where it's like kind of like a pop almost kind of style. I don't want to downplay it by saying just like a regular ass beat, but I mean kind of. And then turning that into a full on breakdown, I think the talent you have to do that, and even if it's not her doing it, if it's like the people in her circle doing it, I mean still props to them. And I'm sure that she has a say in it. But yeah, from what I know, she's not very popular at the moment in terms of like some of the other bands and people out right now. I did see that she was on tour or like got to play with I think The Plot in You, Motionless in White, and Bring Me the Horizon. I saw a set list that had all of them. I saw her name on there too, and I was like, that's really fucking cool that she's, you know, kind of getting the spotlight from people like that that are in that position and have that kind of following and everything. I think she was opening for him, but even still, like that's a pretty good position to be in. I feel like for someone who hasn't been making music a terribly long amount of time, especially when looking at the other bands that she's with who've been out like a decade and a half. I don't know if y'all like pop punk or anything like that. I used to not, and up until this person released music, it was always like, you can miss me with that shit. If y'all listen to the Suicide Boys at all, one of the dudes, Ruby, he ventured out and started doing his own stuff. He goes by Duck Boy, just in all caps. He's got 3 little EPs, and they're only like 12, 15 minutes. Really only like 3 to 4 songs on each EP, with like little, not skits per se, but just like little interludes almost in between the tracks. I have to admit, the first time I heard it, it was Tragic Love Songs to Study To or some shit like that. His names are so fucking funny. But yeah, when I heard that, I was just in the car going to work. Damn, you're a bitch. I couldn't help but just vibe along to it and be like, this is pretty solid. And then from there, like, listening to that and kind of getting accustomed to that, it has allowed me to listen to some other stuff like that. Not like super duper similar, I would say. Mayday Parade, I've gotten into them a little bit. And there's one song by Beartooth that my girlfriend really likes called In Between, or The In Between, something like that. So I started getting into them too and listening to a lot of their music, I say, but it's just been that one album like I'm slowly kind of dipping my toes in. That's the cool thing about it, like something comes out and it's like familiar enough to your ear that it's not super jarring and it doesn't turn you off, but at the same time it's still new and fresh enough that you're kind of like wanting more. What else is out there that I can fuck with, you know? And he went on to drop 2 more over the past couple of years, and there's supposedly like a full length kind of metalcore type album that he's supposed to be dropping. I'm not entirely sure how true that is at this point or what the progress is on that. I don't really have social media, so but I hope that he's still in the process of doing that, because I heard about that and I got so excited, because I would love a full-length album from him. That would make me so happy. I just wanted to talk about some of the new music I found and just open up the possibility for discussion with anybody that watches this down in the comments, because music is one of those things that, like, I could sit and talk about for hours upon hours, and I'm always down to be given suggestions for different types of music, because aside from country, I don't think that there is anything that I will not listen to. But yeah, man, like I was saying, aside from country music, like, there's really not anything that I won't listen to at least once. I haven't found really any genre, well, aside from, country, that I haven't been able to get into. And even then, I can get into stuff like, I'm gonna probably butcher the fuck out of this, but like Tyler Childers and Chris Stapleton, that kind of stuff I can get into. And I know it's not really country music, but I would say it's probably the closest that I get to casually listening to. It's Trampled by Turtles. Those dudes fucking slap. I I really fuck with those dudes. But anyways, I'm gonna quit rambling and in this shit. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Drop a like if y'all enjoyed, and subscribe for more. And comment down below who y'all have been listening to, and what your favorite albums or songs are so far. And let me know what your album of the year is as well. I'm pretty interested to see, and I'll do my best to check out too whatever y'all comment down below. And then, yeah. Until next time, peace.